Marymount University. This research is aims to map out the ONET data to inform workforce readiness certification programs, practically in the United States, in the cybersecurity field, based on the Occupational Information Network, ONET, which was created by the Department of Labor in 1998. It's a content framework with a hierarchically structured taxonomy based on 6 domains and listing 1,102 occupations. Why is it important to map out this information? The Department of Labor intends to provide the workforce with some structured information for cybersecurity related jobs, cybersecurity requirements, and skills and abilities required in this field, since we have this shortage of workforce prepared to fill the gap in the cybersecurity positions available in the United States. So to map out this information provided by the Department of Labor under their Occupational Information Network, the ONET database, we took this information security analyst, tied it to the US, we is I, tied it to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, definition and description of this work role, the requirements, education requirements, tied it also to the Department of Labor Career One Stop. So all these sites, all these government sources are designed to provide the workforce and the hiring managers with these descriptions, abilities, and with this standard qualifications to fill these work roles. Looking at the information security analyst at the US Bureau of Labor Statistics and in the career one-stop Department of Labor, we had tied it back to the all source analyst under the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies in the NICCS framework, and the information security system manager, because there's no unified description across all these platforms for the information security analyst or all source analyst in all these sites. So looking at the ONET content model, which is supposed to provide research and job and organizational analysis on this on these work roles, we see that these domains are divided into work-related, worker-related requirements, worker-related characteristics, and experience requirement, occupation-specific requirements, and workforce characteristics. So under the worker characteristics, abilities, occupational interest, work values, work style, most interestingly, the worker requirements, skills, knowledge, and educations can be tied back to the NICE framework and the National Institute of Cybersecurity Careers and Studies, the NICCS. The experience requirement also would list if how many years of experience would you need to be able to fill this work role in cybersecurity, what's the training, and licensing. So the focus is on the licensing and the certifications required, as they are not consistent over all these platforms. So looking at the information security analyst, analyzing this work role description on ONET, we see that it requires, the job description would require the worker to be able to plan, implement, upgrade, or monitor security measures for the protection of computer networks and information. An additional description of this job may ensure appropriate security controls are in place that will safeguard digital files and vital electronic infrastructure, and may respond to computer security breaches and viruses. With this description, the related jobs listed on ONET are data security administrator, information security officer, information security specialist, information system security analyst, information system security officer, IT security analyst, network security analyst. So analyst, all that's related to information security systems, to information security officers, and information technology analyst or specialist. So this description would fit with this related job based on ONET information security analyst analysis. We have 12, so the breakdown of the summary report of each job to inform the hiring managers, to inform the workforce, 12 tasks related to this role, 51 technology skills, 15 related skills, and then there are more descriptions and more details in the paper and on these sites with Excel files related and breaking down all this information. 17 abilities, 21 work activities, so detailed work activities starting with verbs, basic to the lowest basic work level and work package, and 22 work context criteria. What are the work context where a security analyst might fit, or the job description would be fitting for a security analyst role. The summary report would also define or require certain degrees for specific roles. So 53% of these post or jobs work roles required a bachelor's degree, 23% required a post-baccalaureate certificate, 13% required an associate degree. Some also job-related skills, specific related skills, knowledge and experience, and some job zones examples needed specific job training, like experiential training. However, no certifications were listed. And the importance of certifications in the United States, a lot of government jobs and private industry jobs would require or would have recommended certain certifications as a preferential treatment to be hired for some job positions. So, for example, I have it's not a industry certification, it's a government certification, enrolled agent with the IRS, and practically it's a status. You get higher potential for earning once you get this certification, or more favorable potential to be hired for certain positions if you have this certification. So on the ONET information security analyst position, no certifications were listed. However, when we look at credentials and finding certifications, it will direct us to a third site, Career One Stop, which is also tied to this site. So taking us to Career One Stop, looking at the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, at the same work role, information security analyst, for the Occupational Outlook handbook on BLS, listing computer and information technology. So the closest I found for this work role was computer and information technology under this category. The the growth for this work role in the cybersecurity workforce was faster than the average growth for other work roles, just because cybersecurity is now this field that has this gap in hiring, a gap in filling work roles, in filling jobs, and suffering from all these attacks and breaches and ransomware. So again, for this work role, information security analyst under the Bureau of Labor Statistics Occupational Outlook Handbook, we see there are lists for it. There are facts related to this role, and bachelor's degree is mostly required for related jobs and related posts for hiring. And then it would direct you again to additional resources and info after listing all this information related to computer and information technology. And when you're directed to additional resources and info, you're redirected to ONET site again. So you're going back half a circle, and on the ONET site, directed to licenses, certifications, and registrations. And under certifications and registrations, you're informed how to become a certified professional. And as an example, you are given some employer preferred certifications. And in the United States, this is one of the most popular and prestigious certifications, Certified Information System Security Professional, CISSP. And it lists specific employment-related work roles and descriptions, penetration testings, and systems auditors and their cybersecurity related. So going back to the National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies, all source analyst under the NICE Cybersecurity Workforce Framework, which has been updated recently, and it's a work in progress recently. They're adding the talent triangle to it. So there's always dynamic update to this, to the NICE Cybersecurity Workforce Framework. However, all source analyst has a description not 100% consistent with the description on the ONET site. So the description analyzes data information from one or multiple sources to conduct preparation of the environment, responding to requests, submitting intelligence collection and production requirement in support of planning and operation. We saw originally in some slides previously, plan, implement. So the role is slightly different, the role description, including here 18 abilities, 56 knowledge areas, 18 related skills, 42 related tasks. So the input for these different sites are not uniform. A field called capability indicators was unique to National Initiative for Cybersecurity Careers and Studies and the NICE Cybersecurity Framework. Under the capabilities, we had 3 categories by entry level, intermediate, and advanced level. So within these levels, they were also broken down by certification credentials, by education, and continuous learning, experiential learning, and training in this case. For the entry level, all source security analyst, all source analyst, most of the work roles didn't have a education as required. Mostly it was not essential, and if it was listed, it would require a bachelor's degree. Certifications were not essentials, but may be beneficials as listed under the NICCS, the NICE Cybersecurity Workforce Framework. and they would have been beneficials for new attack vectors, fields like cloud computing and mobile platforms, other areas like vulnerability threat audit, information systems related topics, and they didn't provide or designate any commercial certificates. These certificates are actually commercial. They are administered by the industry and not by the government in the United States. On the intermediate level, education was recommended, intermediate level work roles and jobs. Education was recommended, and the recommendation was for a bachelor's degree. Certifications were recommended, not required. And the type of certifications were security and risk management related, security engineering, software development, identity and access management security. So certifications related, again, to security and to improving the cybersecurity environment and the cybersecurity for the infrastructure and data. On the advanced level, the education was recommended, and the recommendations were for master's and PhD degrees. Still, certification was not essential compared to the intermediate level was when it was recommended. So when you had an advanced degree, certification was not essential. However, it may be beneficial. So again, tied to higher earning and preferential treatment for hiring. The topics or the areas related to these certifications were similar to the intermediate level. So again, cybersecurity risk, cybersecurity risk management, security engineering, communications, network security, and additional topics were focused specifically on US privacy law and practice areas. That's what distinguished the advanced level certifications from the entry level, from the intermediate level. Looking at another work role, information security systems manager, just because that was the closest to the security analyst on the ONET side. So we I couldn't find a 100% match for this work role. Education recommended was for bachelor's degree. Certification was not essential. It might have been beneficial. And then there is an extensive list of potential beneficial areas. On the intermediate level, again, the recommended educational attainment was bachelor's degree. The certifications in this case were identical to the all source analyst on the ONET side that we have identified earlier. So this was the only matching area between these two sites. So there was a unanimous agreement that certifications in security and risk management, security engineering, communications, identity and access management were recommended and were beneficial for these job roles. On the advanced levels, were the recommended education was master's and when the education level was master's and PhD, so certifications were recommended, nothing was required, and the topics were actually similar to the intermediate ones. However, in this case, for the information security systems manager, the specific topics focused on security, risks, and management compared to US laws on privacy for the previous work role we just saw on the previous slide. So the NICCS with Cybersecurity Workforce Toolkit specifies that earning certifications enable staff to stay current on in-demand skills and become leaders in the cybersecurity field. And they list specifically 3 certifications: CompTIA Plus, Certified Information Security Specialist, CISSP, and GIAC Security Essentials. only these three specifically. Career One Stop, when we were directed to the Career One Stop certification finder, um, the site from the Department of Labor provided 26 providers, and listed here by order, the way they were provided on Career One Stop, and listing 116 certifications for area of information securities, and the topics listed on ICCS as they relate to the NICE cybersecurity framework roles for all source analysts. So the Career One Stop was tied back to the NICCS, NICE cybersecurity framework role and all source analyst, instead of these certifications being listed on the NICE website. Again, wasn't listed on the same under the same source, under the same framework. Is it to show the non-importance or less importance? So again, what's the conclusion? To certify or not to certify? For the students we teach, and for the workforce, adults trying to reskill, change careers, or advance in their careers, there is this question: should we certify? And the problem here is the cost in certifications. So the advantages for certifications: the hiring potential. You get more visibility, you get more potential for being hired, and the job retention. If you're on the job, you're more likely to not be laid off, to stay on the job, and to be promoted. And with promotion comes higher earnings in your career and in your pay, actually. So those are the advantages for certifications. However, the advantages for having a advanced degree, like a master's degree, a PhD degree, doctoral degree, was that the potential for being more higher income for people than people with non-degrees, or GED, high school diploma, or just work experience. So having a advanced degree, in this case, because we saw education requirements on every level, every work role, and you are also less likely to be laid off. So with this degree, your income is potentially higher and you're less likely to be laid off. However, with a certification, your hiring potential is higher if you are seeking a new job, a new work role. Under the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the current population survey listed 5,352 computer and mathematical occupations, only around 5.5% with certifications, 7% with a license, and 87.5 no certification or license at all for computer and mathematical occupation, which was the closest thing to all source analyst and to the security analyst we are analyzing here. Again, to certify, what was the incentive to certify? Here, according to the study, you have a certification. It's an embodiment of knowledge. It's a also a sign for commitment in this field to pursue a certification. It's an addition to your degree and provides some credibility and some confirmation of competence in your field, according to the study. And there's a focus on your area of interest and expertise. People who were, the research found that opinions about not to certify, not to pursue certifications. First, they're over-glorified, CISSP or certain certifications. When you present yourself with a specific certification and not a degree, primarily doesn't convey a positive perception about competence or about expertise. And then I found that experience added to educational attainment, so degrees in the field, are a better measure and than just holding a certification in a specific field. And probably this was the reason that these certifications were not listed under the NICE framework and under the ONET site. So there was no actual definitive actionable information for hiring managers for cybersecurity workforce to depend on regarding certifications. Bureau of Labor Statistics gave general guidance and only one example, CISSP, ONET linked to other programs. The NICE Cybersecurity Framework gave recommendations for areas of certifications and potential topics. Only Career One Stop provided specific detailed information about 116 certifications with 26 providers for these certifications. At this point, it is we conclude that certifications are not required for these work roles. For some, they were just desired or recommended. Nothing was required. In the future, I will be looking more into what type of support the employers can provide for training, certifications, and reskilling for their workforce to retain the workforce in the job and for advancing their career with the same employer instead of seeking outside opportunities. Thank you for listening. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your wonderful presentation. It's really useful for many people. Is there any question from forum? I'm sorry, it's midnight for us. Just
Oh, is it?